Authentic Business Adventures, the business program that brings you the struggle stories and triumphant successes of business owners across the land. Downloadable audio episodes can be found on the podcast link found at drawincustomers.com. We are locally underwritten by the Bank of Sun Prairie. My name is James Cademan, entrepreneur, author, speaker, and helpful coach to small business owners across the country. And today we're welcoming / preparing to learn from Kyle Arneson, the founder of, you got a lot going on here, Objective Veteran Smile, up-level business coaching and thinking partner. And Kyle, I've known you, well, I guess you were on the show, what did you say, 4 or 5 years ago?
Pre-pandemic, probably when I first moved back to Madison, about 2018.
Yeah, forever ago. And you have...
And the world was supposedly ending, and hey, here we are.
Right, we made it.
Yeah, all right on.
So let's start with, what is Objective Veteran Smile?
Well, sure. Hey, James, I really appreciate all your work over the years since I've known you. You know, you're always pouring into folks, and certainly it's that abundance mindset. We can certainly talk about that because we all know people that have that scarcity mindset. That won't work for any of us that are out there every day leading our teams, making things happen, and just getting stuff done. So I've always really appreciated the way you approach things with your mindset, because I think that's a lesson for anyone, is that if you want to move forward, if you want to grow, that's going to be uncomfortable to begin with, but it's a reality in the ultimate notion that you're going to have an abundance mindset. Absolutely. The idea that we are working from the infinite. And when you begin from the infinite, there's nothing that's not possible. Yeah, and I think that's some struggle for so many people, because they just start with, oh no, we've only got a limited amount of, or I've only got this many. No, you don't. Yeah. Use your awareness, get into your thinking, and ultimately you can have the most anything, be more, do more, have more that you want, because of your thinking, because of an abundance mindset versus scarcity. So again, appreciate you. Objective Veteran Smile is a philanthropic endeavor I took on to disrupt government healthcare.
All right. Well, hey, you're not alone, man.
No, there you go. No, point is, I'm a Marine Corps veteran. My family goes back, in terms of our military lineage, here in the Madison area. They got off the Irish boat and got to Madison area around 1840, and it was my great-grandfather, who was first generation, walked with 3 buddies of his from Janesville after the Battle of Gettysburg, post-1863, from Janesville to Madison, and signed up for the Union Army at Camp Randall. Literally. Right. Miracle was he made it back, and we're on 7th generation of an ag operation down there. I had 2 grandfathers that were both in World War I. Both came back, started businesses. My dad and his 4 brothers, all combat veterans from Korea, all veteran entrepreneurs, business owners, if you will. They all made it back from combat in Korea, and we're on 2nd generation of a couple of trucking companies down there. I was Marine Corps Air, my brother was Marine Ground. So we've got a long lineage of military service. And just as you start thinking into, things post-military, et cetera, and I'm 63, I'm just getting started, right? The reality is, most people don't know. VA is a wonderful healthcare system, not perfect, and we're working on that, but there's no dental care for our veterans, for our warriors. Think about that. The insanity is that if you are a veteran who served our country, no matter what era, what branch of service, if you raised your right hand, took an oath to the country, and served, you don't have a dental care option, but yet if you committed a crime in the state of Wisconsin and you're incarcerated, you've got a gold-plated dental package. Made no sense. So, again, upon further review, this was 5 years ago. I started thinking into this. I'm sure somebody's doing something. Same thing we always say. Mm-hmm. Right? Anyone that's moving forward entrepreneurially or with a team, corporate, whatever, I'm sure someone's doing it. Right? Just keep putting it off there. And the little voice keeps saying, you better check that out, because maybe you might find out more than you thought. In reality, you do a little bit more due diligence. You do a lot more due diligence. And the reality was, there is no dental care unless you're 100% disabled at our VA healthcare system. Now, the why that's so insane, in my opinion, was the reality that most of our Vietnam era men and women, those veterans, we all know what happened. They're ad nauseum. They raised their right hand, they served, they came back to all that craziness. The reality is, most of those folks are 60 to 90% disabled, but yet some bean counter in DC says, no, we can't do anything about pulling that tooth or about your dentures because you're not 100%. So their plan from the government side is to let their teeth rot in their head. That makes no sense. No. But hey, instead of griping against the system, let's see what we can do. Let's see if we could have an impact, right? I mean, it's that, the million-mile journey starts with one step. Most people never get to that one step, unfortunately, because they're sitting there in the abyss and not getting started. Okay? I took a look at it. Fortunately, I ran into someone that had been in the industry for a long time in the dental industry, because I have
In the dental industry.
in the dental industry.
Okay.
I have no knowledge of dental care. Everything I read was from Dentistry for Dummies book.
All right.
But here's what bottom line was: we found that there is no dental care. From time to time, their servant's heart. Most dentists say, "Oh, you know what? I'll open my doors around Veterans Day or Memorial Day, something," and say, "I can do 10 cleanings of the first veterans that show up." God love them, perfect. But there is no dental care option for our veterans. And it's outside of a surgical procedure at the VA healthcare system. The number one request from any veteran, any era, is for dental care. Is there a stipend for dental? Is there something I can do about my teeth? High cost of dental insurance, high cost for deductibles. The reality is most people don't have dental insurance. And so take that subset of American U.S. veterans who've served and honorably discharged. We said, we've got to do something. And so we came up with the idea, Objective Veteran Smile. We are literally a fund to fund dental care. We pay for dental appointments for Wisconsin veterans. And we are just getting started. We've had the program around the last couple of years. You've got the pandemic issues, you've got healthcare. No, none of that was stops and starts. But now we've actually partnered with the multi-billion-dollar company here in Wisconsin, Delta Dental. Mm-hmm. No one knows our logo. Everybody in Wisconsin knows Delta Dental logo. Terrific. They also have a servant's heart. They're willing to work from the infinite, saying, well, let's have a passion for this. Let's begin, and literally within the next week, we've got our first cohort of veterans going into the program, and they'll have dental care appointments through the Delta Network. So again, that journey of a million miles starts with one step. We took action, and as my mentor and business partner John Maxwell's always said, and I know you've read a lot of John's work, action is what's going to convert the human dream into significance.
Nice.
And that action, we believe, will have the significance to make a direct impact on the lives of our veterans and their families. I mean, we all know oral hygiene is a huge issue, no matter if you're a veteran or not.
So let me clarify a little something here.
Sure.
Is this because you're tackling Wisconsin? Delta Dental is Wisconsin.
Yeah, we're going to be selfish. We're going to be Wisconsin.
Well, I wouldn't call it
first.
selfish. It's just you got to put your boundaries somewhere.
Absolutely.
So is this a nationwide thing? Vets just don't have dental?
We envision it will be.
But I should say the lack of dental care, that's a nationwide problem?
That's a VA national healthcare system that unless you're 100% disabled in the eyes of the federal government, the accounting procedures, you cannot use their dental clinic. Now again, that's the thing. We're sitting here in Madison, Sun Prairie area. There's a wonderful dental clinic on the 5th floor of William S. Middleton VA Hospital here in Madison.
Okay.
That cannot be used unless you are 100% disabled.
And help me understand this, or help everyone understand this. When you say percentages, I'm 90% disabled versus 100%.
Yeah, a service-connected disability. What happened to you in your military experience? Did you have something happen that this can be counted? Hey, I blew out my shoulder doing whatever. I was in a helicopter crash and I have this certain issue, et cetera, et cetera. But that's a percentage that the United States government puts on your disability rating to then project benefits that can come to you through the VA healthcare system.
To me, that feels like an awfully subjective measurement. Am I wrong in that?
No, you're not. But again, we are talking about the U.S. government.
Okay.
Unfortunately, they do, and again, I don't do politics, I care less. Veterans issues should be agnostic. Everyone should want to, certainly the people that have served the country. And again, as we sit here a few days before our hallowed Memorial Day, again, where we honor those who've given the ultimate sacrifice for this country so that we can have our experiences of sitting on podcasts, sitting on these wonderful, pushing people forward and growing. The reality is when you have that Memorial Day, you have a Veterans Day, sometimes that's the only time people may even think of a United States military veteran. But yet, all the way back to 1775 till today, we continue to put people in harm's way. When they come back, the healthcare system that they can access many times is the VA, the Veterans Administration. And that particular subset of that administration is that the dental clinics at all VAs are only accessible to veterans with a 100% disability. That's a small percentage of people in reality. And we just found it unacceptable. I think it was abhorrent. So again, why gripe against the system? Let's see if we can get some other folks now to pull the rope with us. Inch by inch, it'll be a cinch. But we know darn well that nothing will get done if we don't take the first step.
Fair.
So we're out there, Objective Veteran Smile. We've just got our website up and running. Nice. And we are looking for not only the veterans who may not have an opportunity to have a dental appointment, and we right now offering the basic dental appointment through our great partners at Delta, and there's 7,000 plus dentists in the state of Wisconsin. So all the way around the state we can cover, but yet we'll be able to expand that program. It's all about funding. Isn't it always? It's just about funding. So if those who want to come alongside us and work with us on this critical mission of Veterans Dental Care, we're certainly open to communication, and we've got our websites, we've got things that are happening right now, but our first cohort literally is starting here after Memorial Day, and we're going to start making a dent in this thing.
So it's interesting talking to you about this, the dental things. I sat next to a woman on an airplane quite a few years ago, and she was doing essentially the same thing, but in nursing homes. She's like, in nursing home, you got all the nurses, a few doctors, all that jazz, but no dental. And so she was going through the statistics of the number of people that pass away in nursing homes due to dental issues. And you're talking about the dental thing, the VA. I'm like, why is dentistry is it overlooked accidentally or overlooked purposely? Like, hey, let's just not throw any money at that. Like,
Bingo. It's always about the money, right? Follow the money.
Yeah.
So again, instead of griping about the system, but I've been told by people even within the VA that, do you know what that would cost us? I do, but you have the printing press. You do, I do, but you have the printing press. So again, it's not going to change. There's been certain bills amongst the Congress folks for years, and from time to time somebody gets up on a soapbox. But again, just like you, just like any of our we are people of action. We want to take an action step. From intention to action, there's a huge chasm in there.
Yeah.
It's called reality. It's called getting up and doing something, because from that intention to the results, to the action, it's literally doing the work. And so, again, I know nothing would be done about dental care in this country if we didn't take the first step.
Fair, totally fair.
But just like anything in life, you're not moving forward until you take the first step, until you take the quote-unquote leap of faith, right? I mean, we were just talking here about a little volume I've got there, the Think and Grow Rich volume that's been out there since 1936 with 13 principles of success. You know, one of them is faith. You have to have faith in something. You have to have faith in your ideas. You have to have faith in moving forward. That and persistence, that and desire.
Absolutely.
That and a thinking partner, a sounding board, a mastermind group. Because I'll tell you what, before you ask somebody what they think, you make sure they do. There's no one that thinks anymore.
Totally
so again,
fair.
Just like any other project, well, our goal here is to raise $100 million over the next 10 years. That's just a number. We might make a dent in it with that. But if you've got folks that, they have to be aware of the issue. Most people, very plausible, most people don't know a veteran once their grandfather had passed or otherwise. And that's okay. That's on us veterans to make them aware of issues in this subset community. Because the difference between this community and many other communities, in my opinion, is that from time to time, the veteran community may need a hand up, but never a hand out. That's literally why this was not, for 10 minutes, this was called Give a Veteran a Smile.
Oh.
My bad. Next day I woke up, said, that'll never work. Because any veteran, any era, male or female, they would never take something if they thought it was a charitable gift, if they thought they were being given something. They've all earned.
Really?
We believe we've earned the right to dental care. We're put in harm's way 5 minutes ago, someone was put in harm's way in defense of this country. And that's a wonderful thing, but I believe it also comes back with some benefits to what we owe those people, all the way back to 1775 and 76.
Hence the name change.
Hence the name. This is an objective, like anything in the military. This is an objective. It's an objective for Veteran Smile. That being said, we can announce right now that literally over the last week, with our great partners at Delta Dental, the number 2 issue after dental at the VA for our veterans of any era is vision. They haven't hired optometrists at the VA for years and years. It's a staffing issue.
You're kidding.
So glasses, vision, optometry, that's usually a 2 or 3 hour wait at many VA healthcare systems, in particular our older veterans. So we've started Objective Veteran Vision with our great partners at Delta, so we're also offering the vision piece to our program. We can offer veterans the dental piece, we can offer veterans the vision piece. Again, I think we can make a dent in it, but we're certainly going to need folks to come along and pull the rope with us.
Help me out with the business side of it.
Sure.
So you put this together.
And you let me know when you figure it out, because half the time, just like anyone that's serial entrepreneur, whatever that means, business owner, I've never had a job. I mean, we've just started things, failed forward.
I've had jobs.
We've had jobs.
Right.
But half the time it'll look like you're shooting before you're aiming to someone that may have a little bit more of a, where's the plan, where's the plan, where's the plan? we all know people who've planned and they've never started. You can at some point keep planning forever and never take the piece of action.
I guess what I want to know, I just want to know just a layout for the people that may, I mean, there's going to be people in other states that are like, hey, Kyle's got this good thing, let me start it up in Kansas or wherever. So it's a nonprofit, right?
We are Objective Veteran Smile is a nonprofit, Wisconsin 501c3, tax deductible, and we're listed there at the Department of Financial Institutions, and we've got the great website. We can mention that later. We'll put some links out, but just started all that. I think that also facilitates, fundraising and that, because again, it all comes back to money. We know that through this program, it'll cost Objective Veteran Smile, the foundation, it'll cost $300 a year to cover one veteran's basic dental care.
Okay.
So now, just like whether it was St. Jude's or other organizations, you can tie that in. Oh, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Donor, we know that it's $300 a year to cover a veteran. Why don't you sponsor a veteran? Why don't you sponsor 10? Why don't you sponsor 100? And you can start facilitating fundraising in that way. But from the business standpoint, we are a nonprofit organization.
So one, is it tough to start a nonprofit, to get known as a nonprofit, or however, I imagine there's some paperwork?
Define tough. To me, define tough is, does somebody want to do the work?
I guess
you can go apply for one. Okay. Yeah, and the humorous story there was, you do the paperwork, not that laborious. I mean, again, we were sitting in the Madison Sun Prairie area. I think I've heard more foundations, more nonprofits in this area.
Oh my gosh.
Of the state of Wisconsin than per capita than many areas, and that's fine. Yeah. That's because of the servant's heart that so many of us have. We see an issue, we take action, and a lot of that starts with starting the nonprofit, getting that status from the state, no matter if it's Wisconsin or otherwise. But bottom line was, we did the paperwork, put all that in, we got our nonprofit status on March 1st.
All right. Is there an
of 2020.
Oh, 2020, okay.
Oh, hey, great timing. Well, we all know what happened after March 1st, 2020. Well,
it wasn't March 21st, so I guess we made it under the gun there.
But again, right, these are always the things that, whether it was a philanthropy, whether it was a business, whether it was family, whatever you're working on or towards, you have to make adjustments. You have to be able to think into it. You have to have thinking partners and sounding boards.
Yeah, I guess what I'm asking, I've never started a nonprofit, so is it tough? Is there some approval process, or you just
there's an approval process, particularly with the state, and what do you intend to do? A little synopsis there from what I remember. But then what you're coming back with from the state of Wisconsin or any place is literally an EIN, an employer ID number, just like a profitable organization that says, hey, you now have, and you get your enumeration from the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service. It says, okay, congratulations, we've deemed you a nonprofit organization, and here's your number. You can then go start a bank account, put in $2, and you're on your way. Now the part is the action.
All right.
How are we going to serve? Us, it was easy. I didn't know a damn thing about dentistry, and I still don't, but I do know that there is that gap, there's that inequity that veterans don't have dental care at their main healthcare system.
Right.
So why don't we just become a fund, raise money towards that fund, and then pay for dental appointments? This has now been facilitated, quite frankly, because of our great new partnership with Delta Dental.
So let me ask this, because if I understand correctly, you have three portions. One is getting awareness to the veterans, so that they know that they can come to you. Two is getting money from donors and stuff like that, so you can actually pay for that. And then three is to find a group of dentists that can actually do the service.
Well, those dentists are already found for us through the Delta Dental Provider Network.
So did you reach out to Delta, or how did you get
We actually were, and I'll give her a shout out, Val Hartjes from our Park Bank in Madison, was she's a nonprofit banker. And I'll give them a shout out because she put us together. Said, again, just like any of us are trying to do, particularly post-pandemic, making connections, right? Having that abundance mindset. Who does James know that is in my network? Who do you need to know? Who does Kyle know that needs to know? She said with a great awareness, hey, you've got a nonprofit for dental care to veterans. Have you ever met the people that put out the dental insurance around the state of Wisconsin? No, I haven't. I'd be happy to facilitate that introduction, she said.
All right.
And there we go. And 6 months later here, we're launching a professional partnership with the largest dental company in the country.
Nice.
But again, that didn't happen without persistence, without effort, without doing the work.
Understood. Yeah.
But again, that was an awareness that someone had to say, I've got an abundance mindset. Who should these people know that are in my network?
Right.
And that's not always the case. I mean, I go back to any of this stuff. I'm Irish. That's my excuse for being a networker. But what does that mean? It means basically go play in traffic, particularly post-pandemic. Go out. You're seeking leads, you're seeking growth, you're seeking expansion for your business, your family, for your philanthropy, anything you're working on or towards. If you want to be more, do more, or have more, Bottom line is you have to go out. You have to play in traffic. You have to show up. You can't email a handshake. God love us on the Zoom calls and the Teams and everything else, but it's just not the same.
Right.
There's not that human interaction. There's just not the ability to make those connections and say, interesting. Well, you know what? Do you know? And so again, I suggest to anyone, if you really want, Sun Prairie's got a phenomenal Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah,
they meet, I forget which day it is, but right over here at the Hilton Garden Inn. I've been to a number of those.
Third
not a member.
Tuesday of the month, I believe.
Yeah. Good. What is it? Sunrise, Sun Prairie. Terrific program. Terrific program. Madison has is all the collar cities as well. Middleton Chamber, Verona, Fitchburg, all the other places. But again, getting out, playing in traffic, being able to, you and I know each other from another networking group. Well, again, you had to have an awareness that the group was there. Said, well, what am I doing at 7:30 in the morning on a Tuesday? I'll show up at the group. Meet some interesting people, meet some great people, probably make some good leads, and enjoy the idea that we're back to the whole human contact.
Right, you never know who you're going to meet.
You can't email the handshake. And that was borne out, I think, more so than ever in the reality of this, of this pandemic. And I won't discount pandemic, but let's face it, after the first few weeks, those of us who are leaders of organizations, those who are moving teams and folks forward, it was time to mobilize when things had stabilized. My biggest gripe with the whole thing had been that anyone making rules, no matter what state, but particularly here, anyone making rules had never made payroll. So in other words, if you didn't have the business owner and that capacity of their thought of understanding the impact on the small to mid-sized business owner, not everybody got to stay open like Target and Home Depot and Walmart.
Right.
But were we not essential?
Right.
I'd suggest we were. So, but again, a lot of that becomes...
A strong argument could be made that everybody is.
Absolutely. But again, moving things forward, being persistent, because every single day you'll wake up, there's going to be a crisis. There always has been. It was just borne out in red, white, and blue right there for those particular couple of years. But again, people moving their organizations and businesses forward, the reality was they have to get out there. They have to mobilize. How have so many organizations had record years, given that their 2020 started out with, okay, we've got our first quarter, we've got our second quarter goals. Well, just about, I used the point of demarcation at March 12th, 2020. Wow, okay. After that, well, all bets are off.
Right.
How have so many organizations and individuals had record years, whether that was in wellness, whether that was in financials, whether that was in expanding and growing? How have they had those record years in 20, 21, 22, and off to a great start in 23? I suggest because they had thinking partners and they were thinking into exactly how are they going to have to pivot. Particularly, you owned a restaurant. How has Culver's had record years since the pandemic?
The word pivot, yeah.
The proverbial word pivot. But how are you going to adjust? How are you going to make adjustments as opposed to, well, that's it. I just have to take stuff out of my cubicle, go home and sit with my cat on Zoom for the next 3 years.
No,
that's probably not going to work for most of us who are leaders of organizations. I mean, to me, everything starts and ends with leadership. And to do that, instead of making anything other than look in the mirror in the morning and let that man or woman make the decision to move forward with their team. So it goes back to the action.
I want to ask about awareness. How do you get the name out, Operation Veteran Smile? How do you get that out to the veterans? How do you let them know, like, hey, we got this thing we're starting. Come on over, sign up, register. I don't know how they...
Very granular. Okay. Very granular. In fact, a lot of one-on-one, right? Okay. I mean, a lot of one-on-one. Most people may not realize that within the state of Wisconsin, all 72 counties and 11 sovereign nations, there is a county veteran service officer that's responsible for all the benefits coming through their county or their nation for our state's veterans.
All right, so I didn't know that.
Yes, that group of people, literally cold calling those 72 plus 11, making them aware. Certainly now with our Delta Dental partnership, making people aware. No one knows this logo of Objective Veteran Smile, but most people will know. Most people will know the Delta Dental logo. Oh, sure. And of course, those 7,000 dentists in the network. So again, just getting the awareness out is going to the Wisconsin Veteran Chamber. I'm there tomorrow at a meeting, putting these out, just showing up to finding our veterans at our VFWs, Veteran Foreign Wars, at our American Legions. Anyone watching that knows a veteran, knows an organization that is veteran-centric, we'd love to speak to them, love to make contact, not only with our American Legions, VFWs, but you have so many veteran-owned businesses.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's in our local area or in the state of Wisconsin, not necessarily many times identifying as a veteran-owned business, but veteran-friendly businesses that would say, well, that's interesting. And to a man or woman, for the last number of years, all I've heard is, well, I thought you guys had the VA. Well, we do, but there's no dental care unless you're 100%. Well, that doesn't make sense. How can I help? How can I support? And it starts from there. But it all starts from the awareness. And once the awareness is there, then there's certain calls to action. You're really good at calls to action in your businesses and your philanthropies. I know that. But call to action. Well, here's a new website that we've got up over the last few months. There's the Donate Now button. There's the awareness of the situation. That's our mission. It's very simple. Even us Marines can understand it. There is no dental care. We're trying to make a dent in that.
So is this, when you talk about dental care, are we talking cleanings? Are we talking cavity filling? Like how deep do you go?
Our basic program that we're starting with, and we can get to the more comprehensive, the dentures, the bridges, the crowns, the real expensive things, and whether it's healthcare or dental care. We can get to all that, but initially to serve many more veterans in the state of Wisconsin, the reality is you can have a basic dental program which covers x-rays, cleanings, fillings, non-surgical extractions, just basic stuff, but so many veterans don't have the basic stuff.
Right.
And again, even taking out the word veteran, many communities are underserved in dental care, in oral hygiene. But so many of the professionals and practitioners tell me that there is absolutely oral hygiene, just like gut health controls so much else of our health.
Oh my gosh, yeah. When I was sitting next to that woman on the airplane, and she was telling me all that can stem from having oral issues, dentistry issues.
Because I'll go, and I'm regularly looking to speak to anybody at the American Legion VFWs. I'm happy to show up, give our spiel for 10 minutes and let people know that we're out there, because not only are those folks members of those legions and VFWs end users, but they probably got a couple of bucks to authorize for mission support. But so many of those older veterans will say, if the VA had just pulled these two teeth 12 years ago, I wouldn't have diabetes. I wouldn't have, and there's listings. Again,
wow.
When I went back and checked it, it's very true that if you're not taking care of oral hygiene, that there's all sorts of different subsets of issues that can happen. And again, we talk all day about the governments and everything, but that's not the case. We're just taking action. We're going.
The problem exists. So you're going to solve the problem.
Absolutely, just like any other entrepreneurial venture, just like anything in our life. If you want to be part of the solution, not the issue.
20% on the problem, 80% on the solution. Fair.
Yeah.
So what do you have to do for fundraising to bring money in to help pay for this?
Get out there and spread the word.
Okay.
Get out there and spread the word. Again, veteran business owners, philanthropies, foundations, individuals. Somebody's got $25, somebody's got $25,000, anywhere in between. I mean, our goal over the next 10 years is $100 million to make a dent in this issue. But as we know, you can't get to $100 million until you get to 100,000, till you get to 10,000.
Right.
So every
One run
dollar
at a time.
counts, but again, to us, it's getting the mission out there, getting the awareness out there, and taking it from there.
All right.
Yeah.
So
I appreciate you mentioning.
Is this, how much time are you devoting to this? How much does it need? I don't know.
Me personally?
Yeah.
Maybe almost 80% of my time.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, again, kind of a one-man show to begin with, and we've got a board of directors that we can meet, per our charter, et cetera. But again, I don't ever expect anyone to have the passion I do, just like any entrepreneur, any other business owner. You can have a great team, but again, when does that team get their vision? No one will buy into your vision unless they buy into your leadership. And that comes right from my mentor and business partner, John Maxwell. They will not. You can have the greatest vision, but if they don't buy into your leadership, it'll never happen. So again, getting out there, getting awareness, having people buy into this awareness and the idea that, well, I didn't know that. That doesn't sound right. Well, then we can start making a dent in that.
All right.
So, yeah, I do a lot of that, but 24/7, 365. We've all got time.
Sure. Hey, the same time everybody else has.
But again, I would bring you back to something else that, John Maxwell has actually got a great new book out. I think I might have showed it to you at another meeting, but, the 16 Invaluable Laws of Communication, right? Previously, they had a book out called Everyone Communicates, Few Connect. How true is that? Everyone communicates, few connect. This one goes more into, and again, John's a young 75, and again, very relevant because this book was just published 3 months ago. But not even first chapter into it, but the first chapter's subtitle says, your most effective message is the one you live. Your most effective message is the one you live.
All
Think
right.
about that. Think about the credibility. I think my most effective message is the one I live. If I'm out there fundraising, if I'm out there getting awareness to this particular philanthropy, well, I also bring that into my coaching and thinking partner business through up-level business coaching and thinking partner. Same thing. You're living the message every day. That tends to have great credibility because you're not saying one thing over here and doing something else. I think that's a great message for anybody that's out there is your most effective message is the one you live, no matter what you're working on or towards.
Fair, because then you don't have to say this is who I am. People just see who you are.
Absolutely. You're living the message.
Right?
Yeah.
I love it.
But again, in communication.
Tell me, you mentioned a board. How do you pick members for a board for something like
Very
this?
carefully. Yeah, again, for anyone out there with a philanthropy or with even an advisory board for your business, your family, whatever it is, tread carefully, tread wisely. But again, sometimes what you appear to say or appear to think is the qualification for, a board member and somebody that's very accomplished. We also realize that the reality of so many of our philanthropies, of so many of our great missions out here, is that there has to be work done.
Mm-hmm.
To me, the key to any board, whether that's advisory, whether that's corporate, whether that's philanthropic, is just to be able to network. Who do you know that we should know? Who should this organization know that's in your network? Who do you golf with? Who do you bowl with? Who do you fish with? Where are those people that should know about our message and our great mission? But so many times, I think that gets blocked because, we've got, and certainly, not making difference to any of the, Robert's Rules of Orders and all the legal constraints.
Right,
and everything else. Absolutely, all that's taken care of. But when it's really said and done, the blocking and tackling to me of advisory board, corporate board, or anything else is, let's get together and just, who do we know in our networks that needs to know about the mission of this?
All right.
It's been said, and I believe it's true, that 85% of all philanthropic missions will fail because they can't raise $5,000. Well, that's real American money, but how did that happen? They seemed like they had some really accomplished people. I'd also suggest to anybody who wants to look and anybody who wants to listen, there's a great website out there, that Charity Navigator, that literally from the big organizations to anyone that's been in a nonprofit for 3 years, you can go check because we've got 990 tax forms. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Nick Curran from Numbers from Nonprofits. He's our great CPA team here locally. But you can go check and see exactly how many of those dollars go to mission. You start looking at you start looking at some of the bigger philanthropic missions that are out there. I won't name names, but you'll see that only 30, 40 cents of every dollar goes to mission. The rest is in admin and salaries.
Oh,
et cetera.
sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when you start seeing that, make sure you're investing wisely, so to speak, with your philanthropic interests. We know with something like this, we're small, we're nimble, but we know that 99% of everything goes right towards the dental care appointments for veterans. Hey, we know $300 a year sponsors a veteran's dental care. Why don't we sponsor a veteran?
Sure.
Okay.
You don't have a CEO making millions of dollars. You don't have a huge
Not
building.
yet.
Right?
But someone's going to have to administratively, when you start
Eventually,
talking about
sure.
the multi-billion-dollar organizations, there's no question you have to have folks with great experience, and with that great experience comes the reality that they do need remuneration and be able to run these organizations. They're just like any other successful business enterprise. Is a philanthropic enterprise in that it has to be run efficiently, effectively, and making sure that those dollars are going towards what they're supposed to go to.
I remember an article, I want to say in the neighborhood of 10 years ago, that a buddy and I were talking about, and it was some big nonprofit, and it's like, oh my gosh, only 15 cents of every dollar actually goes to the result that you're hoping for, whatever it is. And I'm like, if you took away those 85 cents, you'd probably be taking away the whole dollar, because then those 15 cents would never make it. So you need that percentage, whatever it is, to be able to move the money and shuffle it and stuff like that.
Yeah, and so there's marketing costs and everything else. But again, it can all get done. With this particular philanthropic endeavor, we're tackling a mission that we believe is critical because it doesn't exist. So what are we literally doing? Just like anything we're doing in our entrepreneurial endeavors, we literally are disrupting. You talk to anybody that's done something that's not in the norm, that is disruption. That doesn't come without a few battle scars.
Right.
Without a few, the dream vampires are out here every single day, James, and you know it as well as I. Well, if the government can't do that, how do you think you can? That's your opinion, not ours.
Boy, if that was the statement to stop someone, they must be pretty lazy.
But that's the reality.
Yeah.
The dream vampires are out here every day, no matter what we're working on or towards.
Right.
That's why, again, when you just tie in not just philanthropic, but anything you're working on, you can't have the fear of somebody else's criticism, the fear
No.
of, what is somebody else going to think? Again, someone else's opinion of you is none of your business. But that's the hardest thing to focus in on. Kind of like our Triple Crown races. We've got to have the blinders on for a reason. And especially, those dream vampires are out there every single day you wake up, immediately, well, I don't know if I see you doing that. I don't know. Gee, if they can't do that, how come? That's your opinion, not ours.
For something
We're
like
moving
this,
forward.
you've had people say it's not going to work?
Well, I experience this every single day.
Wow.
Begin. Well, what's the credibility of the person saying that? What have they built? What have they done? Where have they put their time in?
Even if they had credibility, I don't know that I take it like that.
But not when you're mission focused.
Yeah,
Again,
watch it,
no
we'll
matter
make
if
it
this is
happen.
philanthropic or if it's business or it's family, until you are focused, until you have an awareness, and until you're working on a vibration that allows you to do nothing other than have that burning desire to take something to the finish line. That's where most people fail. Most people are 3 feet from gold. I keep alluding to this wonderful book, Think and Grow Rich. I mean, as you can see this copy, there's the chapter on persistence. I don't know, I'm not that good.
That's pretty good.
But that is 13 principles of success, and get away from the fact that it was a 1936 copyright. But if you can tell me that those 13 principles of success in that book, again, whether it's audible, whether it's downloadable, whether it's the physical book, 13 principles of success that are so apropos to today moving forward: persistence, desire, faith, organized planning. Number 9, a mastermind group. If you really want to take something to another level, have a thinking partner. Have a coach. Have someone that's been down the road saying, well, here's what I think. But again, before you ask them what they think, make sure they do. And that's, to me, that's what, back to our question of the board and how you interact. At this point, and I think any point, you don't want people who are just trying to resume build.
No.
We're well beyond that. We're literally wanting to change and disrupt an area of a healthcare system that we believe is ineffective, doesn't exist for the most part, but yet it's an incredibly critical mission to our nation's veterans. And again, we'll be selfish and start in Wisconsin here. But again, this is very scalable around the nation.
Yeah.
But again, first things first. You can't get to X until you get to Y. So you know what? At $300 a year to sponsor a veteran, that's where we'll start.
So can we talk numbers a little bit, just so I can wrap my head around this?
I'm a Marine. You speak slow.
So how, at this moment in time, ballpark, how many veterans are in Wisconsin?
That's a great question. Probably more asked to the Wisconsin Department of Veterans Affairs.
Okay.
But I think it's hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands. Okay,
Hundreds of
that's close
thousands.
enough for me.
Sure.
I didn't know if it was tens or hundreds.
No, I mean,
idea.
you were sitting in our Sun Prairie Madison MSA, if you will. I mean, we've got tens of thousands of veterans, again, from all eras.
Right.
We have to remember, over the last 20 years of conflict, and here's where most people sometimes don't see the future, if you will. Not that I'm that great at it. My crystal ball's broken. It's in the shop. But when you look at our nation's veterans and the conflicts ever since 1775, that matter of fact is that over the last 20 years of conflict, post 9/11, you had so many men and women in the military, pig going through a python, if you will. If you think about it, 9/11, September 11th, 2001. Wow, that was over 20 years ago. If someone had signed up, enlisted, officer corps, ROTC, whatever they got into the United States military, any branch, they're in their late 30s, early 40s. That health care, dental care included, is going to move with them as they're ultimately going to come through a big number through a system.
Right. I guess what I'm asking is, let's just say there's 1 million for nice round numbers.
Sure.
And $300 per. So we need $300 million.
Well, that's considering that not every single veteran does already have, they might have work, they might have dental insurance.
Okay.
Right? So what we're really concentrating on, needs-based, if you will, to start.
Okay.
But because of just the cost of healthcare in general, but certainly dental care, a lot of employers are not offering that as benefits, even post-pandemic. If they are, many times there's a high deductible. So if someone's deductible on a dental insurance for themselves or their family is $3,000, and we know that to get the cleaning and x-rays twice a year might be $300 per, hey, that's $6. Well, then it's self-insured anyway. So what we're really looking to do is say, hey, those men and women who've served our country, our warriors, that are not covered by the VA because they're not 100% disabled for dental care, an extremely critical issue at the VA and for our veterans, let's start there.
All right.
Let's start there and offer the basic dental insurance, basic dental program through our great partners at Delta. Let's start there, and we can work our way out. We can cover more comprehensive things. We certainly envision, whether that's the bigger dental work, the crowns, the dentures in particular. A lot of our Vietnam-era veterans missing a lot of teeth. A lot of folks are in need of dentures. That's $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 procedures. Well, we certainly envision that we could make an impact with just even pricing, simply because as we're growing. So again, having great partners corporately and otherwise, going to say a denture manufacturer and saying, hey, why can't we get a deep discount for these dentures for our warriors, for our veterans in our program?
Yeah.
I would think as a corporate, great corporate citizen, that would be something you'd want to get some credit for, and we're happy to do that.
Yeah.
Again,
Figure it out.
we're just getting started, but again, the million-mile journey starts with one step. We've taken a step.
Yeah. So tell me, with Delta, I know the commercials of Delta, and I know Delta has insurance. Are the providers, the service providers, the dentists, hygienists, all that, are they Delta employees? Or
No, they just simply take the Delta insurance.
Gotcha.
Right?
Okay, so Delta's
So when
insurance.
a large company like that, a Delta Dental Insurance, when they're in the state of Wisconsin, for example, particularly because they have most of the coverage for large companies in Wisconsin, the state of Wisconsin itself. As dentists have told me, hey, if we're not taking that dental insurance from Delta, we're probably not in business in the state.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they're the big dog. So again, no one knows our logo yet, but they know the Delta logo. So to partner up and have great corporate citizens like that and begin this program, and they have a passion for this, as I think most people should for our nation's veterans, that those people have served honorably in our capacity in our military services for our benefit as individuals to have the freedoms that we express in this great country.
Totally agree.
We're not perfect, and we're working on things. But the reality is those folks are a certain subset, our United States military veterans, specifically in the state of Wisconsin, that we believe we've earned the right to dental care, so we took a step and we took action.
So have you heard of anyone else in any other state taking on something like this? Never.
Well, again, never's a long time. But
Seems
it's
like
a lot of work. Sure, when you start doing due diligence, you'll see, as dental groups from time to time are opening up their doors and saying, hey, we'll serve this many veterans around Veterans Day pro bono. But again, these are all businesses, small to mid-sized businesses that they're running, and to be able to make that kind of philanthropic effort, hey, we'll serve 20 veterans and basically donate $25,000, $30,000 worth of dental services.
Yeah.
That's a leap.
So this, to me, not on the same level, but this reminds me of when I started my call answering service. My goal was not to start a call answering service. My goal was to find a company that was doing it and pay them to answer the phones for a different business I had. And I thought, there's no way that a company does not exist to solve this problem. And this is just one of those problems that I'm hearing, like, how is this not solved already?
But again, that's the awareness.
Yeah.
That's on us as Objective Veteran Smile to get the awareness out there that, again, most people many times don't know a veteran once their grandfather passed, et cetera. But yet, then they also don't know the awareness of the issue that's there with the dental care position.
I like it. So we don't have too much more time, but I want to ask you about two specific...
Well, I appreciate you spending time on that. It's certainly a passion that I think all of us can get behind for our nation's warriors.
Yeah. I want to ask about two different places that people are going to go. One is if I'm a veteran and I want this service, where do I go? Is there
They
a
can
website?
contact me.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got a website, www.objectiveveterans-smile.org, O-R-G. And, I've got my phone numbers, I've got my contacts. We've got, actually, the irony of ironies, we've actually got our flyers and information at the VA hospital.
Oh, nice.
In the dental clinic. I was there the other day and delivered that to very appreciative admin staff that says we do turn away a lot of very angry veterans because they're thinking that, well, I'm a Vietnam veteran, I've got a disability rating, and I can't get my tooth pulled. It's giving me a lot of... Well, again, that's fine. We're just getting started and we're pouring into this. But yeah, that's the place. We're online. People can look up Objective Veteran Smile and you'll see it.
All right. And then if I wanted to donate, or a listener wanted to donate, where
No.
do they go?
They can go to the website. We've got the nice little Donate Now button too. And again, we're kind of messaging not only for May Military Appreciation Month, but certainly the Memorial Day, where those we honor that gave the ultimate sacrifice. So knowing that $300 a year covers one veteran, we can start with that, or anything above or below. I can be contacted. We can certainly show up with our nice, big, beautiful logo check. And we want to give credit where credit is due.
Sure.
When people want to disrupt this whole narrative that our warriors don't have dental care, the most basic, right? We believe we've earned the right, being in harm's way, to come back to the country and have our teeth cleaned. That makes sense on a lot of different levels to a lot of
It doesn't
folks.
seem like you're asking too much.
No.
I wouldn't
But,
think.
again, making the awareness. So we
Yeah.
can get out there and we can, we want to give credit where credit's due. Because we all have that servant's heart. We know we do, and there's so many people out there, especially with where we are locally with all our great nonprofits. But until someone knows this specific mission, they won't have the awareness. And there we go. We can make contact on our website, make contact with me, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Tell me the website one more time.
www.objectiveveterans-smile.org.
I love it. Kyle, thank you so much for being on the
James,
show.
I really appreciate it.
This is fun. You got a good thing going here, and I wish you the best of luck. I feel like you're solving a problem that should have been solved, safe to say, a couple
But yeah,
hundred
when was the
years
best
ago.
time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. When was the second best time?
Today.
Thank you.
That's nothing to it. This has been Authentic Business Adventures, the business program that brings you the struggle stories and triumphant successes of business owners across the land. We are locally underwritten by the Bank of Sun Prairie. If you're listening or watching this on the web, if you could do us a huge favor, give it the big old thumbs up, subscribe, share it with all your friends, especially your veterans, and of course, those that have a couple extra bucks to share to get the veterans the dental work that they need. This is super cool. My name is James Kateman, and Authentic Business Adventures is brought to you by Calls on Call, offering call answering and receptionist services for service businesses across the country on the web at callsoncall.com, as well as the Bold Business Book, a book for the entrepreneur and all of us, available wherever fine books are sold. We'd like to thank you, our wonderful listeners, as well as our guest, Kyle Arneson, the founder of Objective Veteran Smile, as well as Up Level Business Coaching. And Kyle, can you tell us that website one more time?
Our objectiveveterans-smile.org.
All right. And then how about your up-level business coaching?
We're just now working on a new website, so we don't have that up yet.
All right. Pending.
Pending, absolutely.
Next, we have past episodes can be found morning, noon, and night. The podcast link found at drawincustomers.com. Thanks for watching and listening. We will see you next week. I want you to stay awesome. And if you do nothing else, enjoy your business.